Hello, Bloom folks, welcome and welcome back. This is Gnomes. Let's start with this new project here. So, I was already doing 3D web comics before, trying to develop some way of doing it with my characters, with my universe, and then it's too loud, yeah. Sorry, yeah. So, and then I don't know exactly how, but I ended up with this idea that is not mine, of course, to achieve this black and white grayscale anime stuff that there are some tutorials about that. They are inspiring, but you know what? My understanding of rendering in Blender as a whole, shading is for noobs. Compositing is the big deal because okay, of course we can do a lot of great things with shading. It's just a way of saying like shading is the the how do you say, it's the detail thing, because you, for each material there would be a shader, even the world shader. Okay, the world shader is more interesting, but okay. But then what does integrate everything is compositing, and the compositing is not for noobs. Like shading is for noobs. Like you can have like could have whichever material, very crude materials in the character, something bad materials, even with compositing. If you have good compositing and the bare minimal good shaders for the scene, then you can override the mistakes and the shading. That's why shading is for noobs. It's just like that. Of course, I'm picking on the guys that make hours and hours tutorial of detailed shadings stuff, materials, right? It's very cool, but like as I said, it's for noob, because you can do a lot more in a, it's like beyond that. The compositor apply, it's like a shader thing that you apply to everything, to the entire scene. So it's like you can have I love this one, ambient occlusion pass. So you can have like you see a lot of artists struggle. They make the ambient occlusion inside the shader, but then it's just for that shader. Then if you for every other shader you have to include this piece of shit, this feature, and you have to make sure it combines well with the shader. That's completely stupid, right? If you can get a good ambient occlusion pass, it works like this. If you don't know, needs to be an EV or cycles. Doesn't work unfortunately for workbench, so you need then the view layers here, and then you can have some passes, then you get this one. I'm keeping the Z passes maybe and the depth, right? This could be useful for the grease pencil. I don't have a grease pencil here, I think. No, this will be for another compositing stage. Right now I cannot build it. Maybe it will be built not for the rig, but for the... Oh yeah, that's it. It was for the entire scene. This is a very crude scene, so it doesn't really matter. And so what matters here is that I was trying to figure out something original, right? There are some switches here. Let's try to... So let's see. So of course I have colors here, but these are not very crude colors. I don't even use EV for colors. I use it, but I batch with other compositing workbench. But here I'm not gonna try to use workbench because it's a bit too heavy. I would make it in a secondary scene. It would be great, actually. I think I need it. Yeah, let's build that thing. Probably we're gonna make a linked copy of that scene, and for this we're gonna call this workbench. Then the other one we're gonna call it EV. Actually, one EV and two. We don't need the compositing for the workbench one. Probably we need to delete this even to prevent some accidental stuff. The compositing works only from one thing. So let's get yeah, so the EV, okay, the EV works here in this linked duplicate here of scene. Then we're gonna, yeah, so I need to bring the render layer here for, let's just duplicate this thing. It's good because the EV doesn't have this, yeah, the very crude EV and cycles. They can't match the coolness of a workbench. So you need to have, okay, workbench. Here's a second scene. And this one, let's see what it gives. Okay, apparently I need to render something, I guess. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, is that this I need to change it just here. Okay, so I have this, and of course we need to bring back some stuff here. I'm not sure what would work here. I'm just gonna get those things. Yeah, here is all duplicate, so maybe transparent. Yeah, maybe this. We don't want the background for this one. Yeah, so it's for the cavity. This shadow is not bad also. We could have some specular lighting, but okay, for that we'll have to use a special... my special... you can build this in this thing here. It's the... where it is. No, I think it's not here. Lighting, it is here. Yeah, so you can build this stuff. It's like global lights coming from multiple directions, and then some of them can have some specularity. This can help in the... it's too strong here. Maybe that you can find... this one is softer, this one is too bright, this one is too bright. Yeah, let's use... this one is a bit softer, so let's use this one. And then we can keep the specular lighting. And... saving. Okay, that's it. So this is all we need for this for now. So it's a link sync. Whatever things I change here, it will change in the other scene. See, and vice versa. So right now this is not compositing because of course I need to yeah, I've displaced the... need to render something here. Yeah, so this is the I'll show what I'm doing there in a moment. So here we need to... so this is the ambient occlusion passes, just so I have a switch so I can do one on another. I was testing some crazy stuff before, but not gonna... ended up that we use this. So here we're gonna connect this with yeah, where's... okay, we need to merge those things before or after. I think before. Yeah, before. Yeah, this is here. Yeah, want to connect this thing. Why is not showing anything here? View layers. Maybe I'm missing something. No, it is here. Okay, so we need to... of course we want this to black and white, so I'm gonna maybe do the same thing here, or at least similar. Yeah, no, we need to do different. This is too. I'm not gonna use constant. Constant is also for noobs. Like it will break everything. It can be cool, but it the idea, the big picture, the big thing here that I like. It happens a lot in comics. So you have a variation, and it's happened on workbench renders. If you pay attention. It has soft shadows, and at the same time it can also have hard shadows. Contrast, very contrasted. So of course you can do with other stuff, but Workbench gives it by default. So we can sort of mimic something with linear or ease. Like this is what I was having here. See, I was not using. You see, I have some harsh shadows and sometimes pointy lines, sometimes not. And this is because I'm not using constant. I was using this one, linear, switch 2. And so this was for another. If I use this, that would be, I think, oh, they are crossed, right? Okay, let's and that this one should be this one. No, yeah, you see, so too grainful. This is because of the too grainy, so it's not good. It's for noobs like this. Uh, this constant thing. It's like it. I'm trying to get some aspects of it, but not the full thing. This will be too dramatic effect and too boring. So this is why it's important to find ways that we can find intermediate things, and this color ramp here. I've extended it to the maximum, so we can play a little more with the details here by hand. So this is good. So this I'm leaving this for now because we can bring some ideas, but here we're gonna this light. This is the first one I've made, right? Yeah, this is hold out. Let's just no, it's not like that. Yeah, swap here, and also let's because I prefer now the new one, right? But something okay because I switched here, I guess. No. Oh yeah, because of okay, now it's correct. So technically, I could have any kind of material. So that's why I didn't, especially this black and white gray stones thing. It doesn't really matter too much, the materials. That's why shading is for noobs, again. Then we need then to... Of course, I'll have to work on some materials in the end to apply to this new scene that I'm building. It's still... So for example, this I have because of a procedural material. This is why I cannot use workbench in this thing, but that's fine. I'm still using my methods. I think they are not that complicated. So the problem is that I cannot see the workbench here. So let's see again what we have here. So the idea is to compose this thing. The idea is to... So this brings the cavity data and other stuff. I don't like what's happening to the... mouth there. I'm not sure what's this all about, but whatever. We're gonna ignore this for now. We're just gonna try to mix this into here. Yeah. So this is just, yeah, it's a mix color, but we're gonna use, we'll probably have Control J or J. No, what's, how do you create this? Make group? No, it's not group, it's frame. Shift P, I think they changed the shortcut. Okay, so this is the compositing one for multi. There's a color, yeah, color. So this is the where we're gonna finally merge those things. Okay, so this would be yeah, so you see I can start to have some interesting strokes there. I don't even have the grease pencil here, but this cavity is probably gonna also, it's helping define some other things, so it's very interesting. Okay, but the mix, it's destructive, so we're gonna try something. I'll have to try different stuff here. Multiply is too dark. Add could be. Ah, there is value also, let's see. Okay, what if you change the order? Different. This is really good. So let's try the soft light. Maybe this works. No, it's yeah, I think I really don't know what's going for the melt, so gonna keep this for now. Then okay, soft light works here, but we're gonna get this on so you can easily check. Okay, so this soft light seems to give something good here. Linear light is very different. Looks like a multiply thing, but worse. So we want to screen. Oh, screen. Screen is could be interesting because it seems it could add those. No, it doesn't do. It's not really doing much. Color dodge. Yeah, no, I think linear light. No, it's not linear. It's the other. Soft light seems to be the most impressive. Yeah, it seems to retain. You see some shading here that is on her cheek bone. Seems interesting. Yeah, this is a very interesting combination. To be fair, there's not there are very little gain in this shot here, but through the dual compositing, but then whatever. Here I might have to work with this. I can add another one. You see that I pushed the dark, the black, pure black to a little, and the white a little closer here, so I have more contrast there. It's very subtle details, right? But here we don't see really the render. And of course, each render should be done very careful because it's dual compositing, right? I could just prevent this by just negating here. So for example, if I want to negate this, I can just make a switch, right? Duplicate, copy here, and like yeah, so like the secondary switch. Yeah, this is confusing. I mean the single do compositing, right? So this means that I can, with the first one, I can just I can really see in real time this. Let's see if that's true. Yes, this will be indeed that's what. And that's very cool because we can pose the character, we see everything, right? Of course, this is not the final render. There's some grainy stuff and all that, but that we can. I've reduced this a lot, but we can improve this a little. I need to readapt the shaders of this character, especially for this the materials for this new compositing. So of course, there's a moment where the shader, the materials start to become a little more interesting to develop, right? But what I mean is that people take too much. Often people talk too much about shaders, about materials, but when it comes to composing scenes, it's garbage. What you need is compositing, understanding what compositing. And I'm telling this because it took me a while to get into compositing. To be fair, I really didn't like the shading for a long while. Then I started to like shading for materials world, like cloth making and textures, skin textures, texture painting. Yeah, I sort of like texture painting, but it's annoying also when you don't want to. And then, but then I started to learn compositing and then oh, this integrates the shaders, everything that I started to play a lot with those compositing things. And yeah, like it's a bit far from fine results right now. I can't call it manga anime because of the materials, in part because this is, I don't want to do something like copy, reproduce. No, I just this getting it from inspiration. And the great thing about it, I've read some sci-fi, and I was young adolescent, like decades ago. I had very few mangas in English in my city, were very hard to find. But there was something like, there was Ranma mangas, very hard to find them, and very few stuff, and they were in English. And yeah, Inuyasha, I had some very few old school manga. And then also, yeah, later on I got Gundam, yeah, Battle at Angle Elite or something like that, I guess, and some others. So these are, they are of course in this aesthetics, and they do well with those tones, those things. Now compositing also have some textures, but I never use them, so I don't really know what they do. Okay, anyways, I'm just testing some things here. Of course, we would need a lot more scenery here, so I'm not here for modeling, just testing the basics, right? Let's see if we can get some interesting things. I already just built today this yeah, see, so you can get some very nice, some materials here might have some sort of glossy shader and all that, but then this probably gets implications, also information from the workbench. There are more things that we can also do here. Let's get a better shot here. This camera is not helping. Maybe do a square. Okay, this is not perfect, but we can use this so we can see what else we can try to implement in here. Yeah, we can have many of these, right? This will be brighter, but I like this thing, so the ambient occlusion. Let's not touch the ambient occlusion. What is this doing? It is mixing nothing. I think it's lost the. Okay. What is this? Oh, the workbench. Of course, this is the switch here. Okay. You see this grainy, explosive stuff. It's interesting. What is this? Okay. Oh, it wasn't the single compositing. Yeah, this is the dual composite. So why is... When we combine this with... Yeah, this thing is doing something wrong right now. Or it's just... Yeah, I'm a bit lost here. Those things are a bit confused. So this could be useful, but you see this excessive grain. This is the constant. And even this is not good also without constant. You see it's also grain. But this is because of what's going here. The dual compositing is failing. So I think... Okay, I'm trying to get this one. Oh yeah, this is something. This is the mixer actually. Yeah, let's try to combine here. All right, so mix. Okay, this one is working. Maybe I need to re-render this to see the... Okay, never mind. So we're gonna try this one. Okay, so something is going wrong with the second here. Yeah, I kept this because I thought this could be useful for some... There's some interesting things that come from it, but I don't know where to use it. Maybe I can use it as an extra layer of ambient occlusion, right? This is the ambient occlusion. And this is mixing with the ambient occlusion. So instead of switching here, we're gonna do is gonna try to... Yeah, the ambient occlusion, which is good in itself, right? Except that it doesn't cover some effects like the eyes, right? So this is mixed with the... Yeah, it's a mixed already with the ambient occlusion. Then this is mixed with the... Okay. It's sort of redundant to remix it later, right? But it could be useful indeed to reinforce some effects. Let's try to do something crazy here. Let's bring this to... later on here. We're gonna mix. Let's see what we can do. We can reinforce that effect on top of this. And while we can sort of maintain, yeah, this mix is very crude here. It's horrible. We are not gonna use the mix. We're gonna try something else. There's a good mix. No, not yet. Yeah, so it adds some more graininess and light, but it's not very color dodge. No, too blunt. Add, yeah, simple add, could be add. Overlays looks like a multiply rate. Though a bit better. Yeah, overlay, I think it's fine. Let's continue. Soft light. Why do exclusion? I don't know. Subtract. Even a tiny is very disruptive. Okay, no color here. No, nothing here to saturate color. So it's just the value or the black, the white gray tone. Yeah, so I think if I were to do something, I will do this very subtle overlay here. But if you mute this or it's very subtle, but it can be good. All right. What is confusing is that then if it's all in the same, they have to remember which ones must work together. So I've made this, but considering the duo, if I take off the duo, I should probably just mute this, or no, not quite. Yeah, but then I'm using this one, right? So now this one is crossing everything, right? So it's not. Yeah, I cannot pose the fingers. They are the skinning is disrupted. But one thing that was working was the mouth rig.
More than 25 millennia ago, mankind began the first tentative steps to the stars. Equipped both with shockingly primitive technology and a burning desire for exploration and conquest, man slowly, blindly made his way to the nearest systems outside his own. With the discovery of the warp drive came the Great Expansion, as what was once a journey of several centuries became a journey of several days. Warp space was tricky and dangerous stuff, and not to be entered lightly. Many ships simply vanished, never to be seen again. With the discovery of the navigator gene, which allowed ships' pilots to make longer, more accurate warp jumps, interstellar travel became much safer, and soon men were exploring all of the nearby stars. Alien contact followed shortly thereafter, and, with grim inevitability, the first alien wars. The pattern was set. The Gene Stealers are the most enigmatic of races. Fierce warriors, they eschew the use of weapons in combat. Highly intelligent, they build nothing of their own, relying solely upon the technology of conquered people. Possessing an incredibly strong survival drive, they die fearlessly in battle. Vicious,
There are
destructive,
some
they
lights
choose
also. We can
conflict
play
for
with this to
seduction and infiltration rather than overt battle.
besides the.
At first glance, it is difficult to believe that a cunning and
No, I'm
malign
not gonna.
intelligence lurks within the Gene Stealer's bestial exterior.
I'm not suffering too much from
The Gene
this
Stealer
scene,
resembles the most fearsome monsters of ancient
from
legend, a
too
horror
much
of teeth,
darkness of
claws, and
EV.
glittering savage eyes. Protected by a remarkably strong carapace, through which protrude ropes of sinewy muscle, the creature stands in a perpetual crouch atop its clawed feet. Two sets of arms descend from its massive shoulders, one equipped with fingers, the other with powerful claws. Its long, thick head is equipped with a fearsome array of fangs and an even more frightening pair of eyes.
This could be a generic sun, but no, let's. And this one is in the front.
There are 1,000 chapters of Space Marines, each of 1,000 Marines, a million battle brothers. The best 100 Marines in each chapter are trained in the use of Terminator armor, fantastic battle armor created in the dark ages of technology. Also known as Tactical Dreadnought armor, Terminator Exo armor is a development of the sealed environment suits used Exo armor is constructed from heavy-gauge plasteel plating, forming an armored shell that can withstand even the colossal impact of high-speed orbital micro-debris. It is the only readily available armor suitable for working inside the high-pressure casings of plasma reactor shields, or the extremely corrosive environments inside the holds of bulk chemical carriers. These same qualities, suitably enhanced by the Adeptus Mechanicus, make Terminator armor virtually invulnerable to most weapons. Terminator suits contain their own independent power supply and life support systems. They are heavily armed, and many also carry teleport homers, bioscanners, energy scanners, auto sensors, suspensors, and targeters for their weapons and communicators.
Yeah, so this is what shading can do. Can help in the compositing, right? Same for the jacket there, but we don't see too much, so here, yeah. So they should be integrated, but I like compositing because we can batch stuff in a single, with a single event, right? It seems to be a... It will be better, of course, when we have a scene where we can see all the objects. The camera, let's change it. Yeah, so like this is a bit far from... No, it's not too far from what I want in the end. Some propose... I'm watching some tutorials and checking. Some use to mimic this manga thing. They would use textures. Like I don't like the idea of texture, because then you lose the procedural stuff. And since I'm using EV, I can use the procedural methods, right? Although there's... the arm is broken here. Well, what happened? Now I could pose the fingers. They didn't break. Okay. This custom rig is like some sort of master puppeteering skeleton for 3D animation in Blender. So it doesn't have this rigify thing like the IKF key switch. It's like sort of a simultaneous approach. Then we don't have F key. What we have is tweakers. But we can mimic. I've got a little problem, but we can yeah, we can do something like that, right? And more than that, if we pin this thing, there's a pinner here. We can then pin the elbow from the joint. So this would require indeed a property switch, which is very horrible thing to animate, right? But not the IKF key switch. This for limbs, this is not necessary. Well, just for the head, but not for the arms and legs. So we can do this simultaneous gradual animation. No, not exactly gradual, because there's some offsetting, right? But the F key or the tweak follows the thing, right? I would like that will be gradual with auto I key option, which I have here, but it's not Still, I'm dependent here in this rig with the Aikibon constraint for arms and legs and head. Otherwise, there's limitations on the pinning of the hand. But then this causes a lot of trouble for pinning of joints like the elbow and the knees. I see there are a lot of stuff here that we can do with disconnected skeletons. This is auto IQ option, right? I grab the spine, but I need to make a few changes that I want the hips to interact a bit better with the spine. Yeah, so with this compositing, with this level of compositing already, we can make some storytelling. And also, I just need to fix the rig. And of course, I need to make a new setting, right? And that would be the next stage, right? So right now, I'm just experimenting this black and white thing, and I think it's kind of satisfying. It will be better with more developers in the compositing, and of course with the adaptation of the shaders. I need to adapt the shaders to this new compositing approach. So this might be that I have to change make extra materials for everything. So this will be a bit time consuming, but it should pay off. So when I want to return to the colorful thing, then I still have the materials on the same model, right? Okay, let's just do this last one and let's just see what's happened to the fingers. Yeah, they are broken. Need to fix the skinning. So it is grayscale. We can... Yeah, this is not a great shot for many reasons. I've lost a little of the variations, right? I think there's too much light. This one's a little better. See, lots of different patterns. Yeah. So a lot of things to do, but I think I'm in the right direction, folks. That's it, folks. So today was a bit short, but it was just the beginning of this compositing. So basically, we have just a review here. We have the dual compositing that is not absolutely necessary. I was not even using it, but it doesn't... It's not doing a lot actually, less than I expect. So maybe we can dump that because it's not being very... Yeah, and there might be other problems with the workbench here, so... Yeah, so probably we can dump this. It'll simplify our... I don't see too much advantage. We can do all with EV apparently. And yeah, we can also do some crazy thing later. We can add some color balance. We can do something crazy here. Whoa, yeah, that's very interesting, right? So monochromatic. Yeah, baby. So now you get some, and then you can add, yeah, like the pattern. You can't do this with shading. Well, maybe you can, but it's a pain. This is compositing stuff. This is like the big thing. Of course, this is very simplistic, but it's just to mention that we can add this monochromatic or multichromatic, maybe if we do this properly. But this goes a bit against the original idea of black and white, so it's like just to show that we can easily assess this kind of... Then this start to get deprecated, right? You might have to make new ones. Sometimes a little more could be beneficial. You see, I need to change the iris, the pattern. We can... Yeah, we can change this pattern too. Probably this can... It was on 1, okay, whatever. This one is a brighter ambient occlusion. Maybe could work better with this one. No, this is not working at all. Let's try to crush this thing. Yeah, it takes so much time to build. Let's make another one. I don't like the way this switch start to stack. It's not very clear. There's a proposition to have a more than double switch, like. This overlay is just black and white. It doesn't seem to help with this particular one. Yeah, we could have this total very beautiful, but it's difficult in 3D to get the. This we can see in real time actually. Yeah, so this is completely crazy. But yeah, it's very hard to get some. But we can always try it. Probably need to compose it with some. Not this overlay, right? We need to have to probably change this. Like build something on top of this, like. Okay, let's do the crazy thing. Let's try to mix with this one. Yeah, this is kind of interesting, but not mixing in this way. We need something else. Yeah, this is an interesting idea, but need to do more. That's quite interesting, right? Well, okay, let's but let's ignore this for now. All right. Something here needs to be adjusted. Um, Darken, yeah, something like that. Color burn. Overlay could work, but it's not like overlay is doing a good job for this for some. Yeah, value in this case is equivalent to overlay. So now let's also try. Yeah, no, let's connect this one. Yeah, like this one is just another stupid constant. Well, this is linear, so this is much more interesting. My Blender has not crashed with this compositing since the beginning, so maybe it's well a new scene, so or maybe it's this version of Blender is more stable for that. That will be nice if it's true. And this is also real time, so this is very interesting. It will be even better with an animation, but I'm not in the mood here too. Also because the rig is still the leg is one leg is different than the other because I broke the rig on some. I was trying to improve the rig, but easy to fix. Just resymmetrize. Work in progress, right? It's okay because I have a lot of backups for other versions, so I know what I'm doing. So this could also be, I think it's difficult. You'll need to maintain a theme like this, right? It depends on the approach. I was also missing the greased pencil, but this is not a bad output, right? Could be It's good variation, right? This is sort of appealing, not too bad. Yeah, it's quite expressive. So you see, there are a lot of there are some variations here of shading. It's not all the same creepy cell shading that right. Yeah, you have some cell shading, you see, but if you pay more attention, there are variations. This subtleties, they are what makes the thing organic and real good looking, real more yeah, organic is the right word. I'm gonna save this because sounds good example sample, right? Even though it's random, sort of random. So there's a good advantage here is that this thing was done just with the EV, so I can dump the workbench at least for and that is good because then I can see the real-time compositing, because Blender cannot make the dual compositing appear in real time, unfortunately. But it tells it cannot. Viewport composite setup not fully support, but that's fine because I'm not even using the workbench here. It's also a very nice look. So we can use this triple chromatic for the lights are not even colored. This is just compositing, right? Essentially on EV. Yeah, we could even do animation like crazy with this. That's very interesting. So yeah. So that's inspiring. I think we have work to do. So I think that will be for now, for folks. I see a lot of potential here. We got lots of progress already. Now I need to establish the scenery and improve the rigs and materials for the character. Yeah, adapt those things. So this will be sort of time consuming, but I'll get there. So then we're gonna bring this new 3D web comics with this aesthetics. It's still work in progress, so I'm not sure exactly if I could maintain these colors, right, or something, this kind of pattern, right? Maybe it's even better for the shots that I'm doing than pure black and white or grayscale, right? So this might be more attractive interest actually. So I'm gonna have to investigate further. We can change this on occasions. Let's try to make some other expressions here. If the rig responds, if I can find the controllers. Oops, reset the I can't really see what's going on here. Hold on. Yeah, so I'm testing here some things about the melt rig. We still got some improvements to do here. They are using bendy bones, right? So yeah, I'm still having a little problem with the pinching on the corner on sometimes when it is not wanted. I have a plan for fixing this, but I'm just delaying this because too many things on my mind right now. Yeah, this we can do some Q-dish like expressions for. I don't have pose assets as of yet, but I will, and that of course should be the very. I can't find all the bones on the rig right now, so this is a bit confusing. Besides the fact it's lagging because of the subdivision. Oh yeah, I remember. Need to approximate these bones here. Oops. Okay, it's not. So it's not this bone. I'm kind of lost here. But yeah, this expression is very feasible. Or should be. I think the waves need a little improvement also. Yeah, okay. I'm just testing the. Yeah, we can have many dramatic effects indeed. The fact that yeah, here you see the bendy bones splines. There are even a mechanism one that drives the other, but this is the universal sonic melt rig with bendy bones, so that works. Where's the arcades? Yeah, the arcades are these things. Yeah. I'm missing. Oh, this is the arcade bot finally. Yeah, it's darkened there. Yeah, I wasn't seeing it. I need to improve this. The widgets. Yeah, now the expression is a bit broken. Anyways, that's why I need pose assets. Let's see the eyes. Yeah, the eyes are not. Are a bit. They work, but I need to make a revision. After all, where's the. Yeah, here. So as you can see. Some bones are out of the. They are not in the good. Not in the good spot, or some bottom eyelids, but where's the. Yeah, I have some bones that were moved to a wrong collection in all this madness. Yeah, but that's to show that the rig works. The facial rig sort of works. We can do a lot indeed with this already. But of course, I would like to make more refinements. But really, considering the rigging is not very close to the final state, if I just value the what is needed. Yeah, you can already start posing what we have. Yeah, this is a mess right now. I need to now. I know how to make rig UI with the bone collections. CG Dive dropped a tutorial on that in his new free tutorial course, and for years there's not absolutely no content about this. So I didn't know. Used the bone manager all the times and didn't know how to make that rig UI, but anyways, I'm gonna fix this, and that will be all much easier to pose and make good expressions than the pose assets. I need to improve a list of all that. So anyways, yeah, whatever. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. Take care. Happy blending. Have a nice weekend. See ya. I'll continue doing this related topic now from now on. I think this is the big stuff, and then really making the scenery for this 3D web comics. I will publish it somewhere else, not on YouTube, but I will bring to YouTube some content relative to it. It's like another storyline. This is my project. This is my plan, right? So this content on YouTube will be free accessible. There will like be a marketing thing, like oh, okay, there will be a little story happening, and it will be animated. I think a bit like I was doing for the 3D web comics, but I would do animations, and so there will be two different storylines, but related to the same universe, the same character. Everything is just a. So one thing will be for YouTube, and so I won't be publishing it a lot. It will be a secondary thing, but I will do this also to attract people for the actual, because I need some resources. So these 3D web comics, I want to see if I'm able to do it in a like a sellable thing. And so there's a very ambitious, but or not super ambitious. We'll see. And I think this can work very nicely. And then even if people don't buy it, there'll still be if you don't buy it, there'll still be the story running on YouTube, another storyline. So it's just an extra thing. So I'll be producing similar content. And Cozzy YouTube, it will even be animated, right? Okay, folks. Thanks for watching. Take care. Happy blending again. See you soon. Next time. Maybe. Happy blendering.